Well, good morning everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Product Spotlight Info. To my new viewers, welcome to the channel. Please have a look around in the playlist as there's plenty of videos up already and you might find something that really helps your next camping trip, be that a little bit easier. And all my regular viewers, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate all the support over the years. What am I up to today? Well, I just thought I'd share a new product with you. The two quintessential items when you are camping, you need food obviously, and you need shade. Hot days, imminent weather, rain, etc. You need good cover, be it a tarp, a side roll-out awning, you know, a rooftop tent, something that you can at least get under cover out of the heat and out of the rain. And that's what I wanted to show today. So before we get into it, please make sure you hit the subscribe button as it helps the channel grow and bring more content. And if you'd like, leave a comment and share with your friends. It may help them as well. While you're doing that, I'm going to unzip this. Alright folks, so what I'd like to show you in this Product Spotlight Info episode is a new awning that I've picked up from OPENROAD. It's the 270-degree awning and I am absolutely stoked with it. Just a quick mention, I did have a 270 awning on my car already on the other side, the driver's side. However, while it was a great awning, it was really good. I really loved it. It was lightweight, quick to set up. I always wanted one on the passenger side because this is the main area where I cook. Basically my fridge and all my food prep's done here. I've got a bench that comes out from this side of the car that hooks on here. I've made it out of a big slab of hardwood, which I'll show a separate video on that one. But whilst the other awning was great and I really appreciate having it, I've just always wanted something on this side. So I was contacted by OPENROAD a few weeks ago and they mentioned that they could send me an awning to review. Now, full disclaimer, I did not pay for this awning. They did send it to me at no cost, but like every Product Spotlight Info I've ever done, any product that I request from a company or that a company sends me, I happily return to them. I'm not in this for free product. Anyone that knows me will know that that is the honest truth. I don't want a garage full of product that I'm never going to use just for the sake of getting it for free. So I did offer to return this back to them. They did say if I want to keep it by all means. If I want to return it, that's totally up to me. So I'm going to run it for a few months and see how it performs. But yeah, I just wanted to share it with you. As I said, not to take away from the other brand of awning that I had. It was fantastic. I have that in the garage at home, so I'm going to talk to my mate Norman, see if I can return it back to him. He may be able to use it on one of his camper trailers or someone that's got one of his camper trailers. I'm going to work that out as a side note. But yeah, I just thought I will share this with you. I'll run through some of the specs. Now, I can't remember them all off the top of my head, to be honest, so I may have to put them up in an overlay in text. So what are the key benefits of the OPENROAD 270 awning? Well, one of the biggest things is it's freestanding, so you don't have to put a leg down at all, which is great. You can walk fully around, you don't have to worry about hitting any legs through the middle of the night, that sort of thing. Having said that, they do recommend if the wind picks up to over about 30 k's an hour, they do recommend popping the legs down, which takes 2 seconds because they are inbuilt into the support frames, which is a fantastic feature, really well done. I love that. You don't have to have legs elsewhere or tucked up in here that you got to pull down and sort of play around with. These just drop down on hinges, really quick and simple to set up. So some of the specs on this big bad boy are a 230 GSM polyester material. They have what they call Eclipse shade technology, so it is black on the top and black underneath. I don't know how I'll go with heat, because obviously darker colours tend to draw in heat, but from the reviews I've seen and what I've read, apparently it does work really well at blocking out a lot of the heat. The previous awning I had was actually silver on the top from memory, so it did reflect a lot of heat. It was fantastic in summer, so it'll be interesting to see if this black material with their Eclipse shade technology does actually cut a lot of the heat out. I mean, it's not super hot today. It's pre-storm in about half an hour, so it's kind of muggy, but it's not really hot under here, which is great. It does have a 3,000mm waterproof rating. They call it a, what is it, a water sealing height or something from memory, so I'm not sure how 3 metre waterproofing comes into something like an awning. Every awning, every tent, all those shelters, they all have a water rating like that, so this one's 3,000mm or 3 metres. It has a full zipper that runs right around, and they do make sidewalls for these, so I don't think they've got any in the country yet for the left-hand drive. They're big in America, so they've got a lot of stock of the right-hand drive, but I was talking with OPENROAD and they said they do have some coming for the left-hand side in Australian market. But yeah, there's a black or dark grey zipper that runs along this wall and that wall, and then around the back there's 2 bright orange zippers, so I would assume possibly they're colour coded on the sidewalls as well, so you know which wall you're putting on in which section. I'm really impressed with it. The main key feature, I guess, is the size of it, so it goes out quite a fair bit further than my previous awning, and probably not quite as far as the single awning that I've used in the past. However, you trade one off for the other. If they're ridiculously big, it adds a lot of weight to your roof racks and your vehicle, and generally the further they go out, the more weight, so the more solid everything has to be, or you have to have more legs. So the fact that this is the size it is and it's freestanding is bloody awesome. Now the legs, as I said, they clip up just in these little brackets. They're like a C plastic bracket up in the top. They simply unclick, they fold down on their own hinge, and they're just a standard twist lock. So you drop them down to where you need them, give it a twist, that's it. That leg's down. They have loops on the front here, so if in wet weather, you can hook on the supplied guy rope to this loop that's sewn in, and obviously pull that down, and that creates a bit of a channel for the water to run off. And then in very windy conditions, they've also got another loop above each post or pole, and obviously you can tie that with a guy rope down as well. As you can see there, they've got their own inbuilt hinged arm, so that just folds back up, just snaps into place like that. There's 4 legs, sorry. Second, third, and there's one at the very back here, and they're all on the same system, so simply pull it down out of the clip, drop it down in place. They go down not ridiculously quick as well, so that you're not going to break anything, but it just goes down in place, leg there, and you've got full support. And then when you're done, simply pop it back up. Now the other thing I do really love under here are these inbuilt LED strip lights. So normally you would have to hang lights up from underneath your awning, which is not a big deal, but how convenient is it? These have 3 LED light bars built into the bottom of the arm. Now I did test these out the other night at home, and whilst the legs are folded up, they do block probably about 60, maybe 70% of the light bar, but they were still quite bright. Obviously if you fold the leg down, again you trade off one thing for another, but once you fold your legs down, you've got that full LED bar running down the middle there, and they just have a simple on-off switch at the end here, and you can also adjust the brightness. I didn't realise that until I played around with it, but if you press and hold the power button, you can actually increase and decrease the lighting on them. They've just got these 3 little rubber sockets or plugs, little dust covers that normally just pop up in there, and then you can run those off a power pack, or if you have a auxiliary battery like I do, you can just run it off that. So I'll grab the leads out and I'll show you. So they come in this little nice open road bag. There's actually two bags. There's this one and there's another one for the guy ropes and pegs. But I just keep that strap and the leads in there. And all it does, it's just a standard USB-A on the end, like so. And that plugs into whatever you like, any power source you want to run it off. And then the three leads simply just plug up inside these little ports. And I'll turn them on and show you. Obviously it's daytime now, it's sort of lunchtime and it's quite bright out, obviously. But I'll show you the lights anyway, just so you get an idea. Now I don't have a power pack on me, so I'm just going to run that straight to my battery. This lead that comes with it's long enough to go to both my kitchen box and the other side of the car. So once you plug it in, there's a little blue light on each switch so you can see where it is. And it's simply just a touch button. And there's three colour settings. You've got amber, there's a white, and then a combination. So it's like a semi-cool warm light, and then you just turn it off again. To adjust the brightness, you just touch it and hold it, and it will dim down to the last point. And then you just touch and hold again, and you can obviously bring it right back up to the full point. And you can stop halfway. The beauty is you can have each light running independently. So if you wanted, for some reason, you might want a brighter light over your kitchen prep area and a softer light around the side or something like that, you can adjust them all individually. So they run independently. Now the only thing that I would probably have as constructive feedback would be that if you've had a light on, ideally had it on for a while, you'd just tap it and it would go off straight away. These ones seem to be where you have to scroll through the other two colour settings to go to the end to turn it off. Now it's not a big deal, not a deal breaker by any means, but ideally it would be great that if you've had that set on for some time, say on amber setting, and you wanted to switch it off, you could just tap it once and it would go off, no drama, as opposed to going cool white, warm white, off. Now I have some torches that have that ability. It's like a memory setting in the programming. Ideally now if you want to turn that off, you just tap it and you wouldn't go to another colour setting. I don't know if that's different after they've been on for, you know, a minute or two or what. I might test it out at home and just see. But yeah, if that's the case, it would be great just to tap it on, scroll to your colour, leave it at that, and then when you want to switch it off, whether it's in 10 minutes, a minute, an hour, you just tap that and it would go off without scrolling through each of your colours. So not a big deal, as I said, but yeah, just something to keep in mind. OPENROAD. Yeah, as far as this awning goes, I'm really impressed with it. It's nice and sturdy without being ridiculously heavy. So I'm not going to do the usual thing that you see where people hang off the back of them, but pulling down on it, it is quite strong for an alloy or aluminium constructed material. Stainless steel on the hinges and the bolts. You've got your three straps there, the Velcro straps. It would be great if they had maybe a little Velcro patch or something up here that you could just tuck that up on and get it out of the way so it's not hanging down. But you know, again, that's a bit of feedback, not the end of the world. I'm going to probably slide this maybe about another 4 inches forward, just so that it clears the front here a little bit more. That way when I do have my kitchen lid up, the material basically covers it and just gives me a little bit more rain protection. Otherwise I might just get onto a side wall so that if it is raining or really hot, I could always put a zippered wall on this side alone, and at least that way it covers in my fridge, and that if the fridge is out it's not going to get wet in the rain. But yeah, I'm really impressed with that. I love the colour. Black's very smart looking. A lot of camping gear now has gone to the black trend, and I do really like it. Looks nice. There is a little bag also that normally comes with these. It slides in this sail track here. Now, it didn't come with mine. I did ask OPENROAD about it. When they do come back into stock, they've offered to send me up one. It just clips into that sail track, and you can slide it anywhere along here that you like. And obviously you can hang your keys, a little power bank for the lights, etc. Just hangs up in there. So that's a good little feature as well. Yeah, I'm really impressed with this awning. I think I'm going to get a lot of years of use out of it, and I love the size of it. So when I camped in September up at Clarencetown, I put some Velcro walls on my other awning, and I had my swag at the back of the car here, and then I had my table and my chair and everything for cooking there. This one's got a little bit more room underneath it, so it'll just be so much easier to set everything up how I like. There is 8.8 square metres, or 91 square feet I think it is for the American viewers, of shade. Yeah, it's quite overcast today, so you can't see a real defined shadow line around the car, but it does create a lot of shade underneath. The other thing worth mentioning too is this little pop-up leg. Now, I was always a little bit sceptical of having these in place because I was fearful that it would possibly wear through the material, but these ones have a little rubber cap on the top, so you pop that leg up, and effectively what it does is that creates a high point, so that if it does rain, any water that gets on the awning, provided you set up obviously level with your vehicle, it helps channel water down the awning and away. And as I said, in the centre of each panel is an eyelet, so you can actually tie them down to assist with water runoff. Now, it looks like all the seams are sealed with tape as well, and that's got an extra flap of material over the normal material underneath, so you've got the two sections there, and then this is another piece that they've put over the top, so there shouldn't be too much issue of that rubbing through. The only thing I probably would be potentially concerned about, maybe just a little something on this sharp edge here so that it's not constantly rubbing, because obviously people go on dirt tracks and rough roads. I just wouldn't want that rubbing through the canvas, because that'd be a bugger to try and fix then. So maybe just something on the base of that foot. But other than that, yeah, it seems like it's a really well constructed product. As I said, you got the light bars are the greatest thing. Like, that's so cool that you can just drop your leg down. You got your full inbuilt LED. I did mention to them maybe putting the light bar in the side here instead, just so that if the legs are folded up at night time and it's not windy and you don't need them down, you're not blocking sort of 60 or 70% of your light output. But, you know, worst case, nothing stopping you hanging a couple of lamps underneath here anyway. There's plenty of spots that you can hang things from. I did try one of my awning sail track clips, my sail hangers, in here, but they are a smidgen too wide, so I might have to look at getting those made slightly smaller, and that way it'll fit these open road awnings as well. I thought this was a fairly standard rail size, but obviously they're slightly different. As I mentioned before, with the wind, I checked their specs and it does say up to 30 k's an hour you don't need legs down. Above 30 to 60 I think they do recommend the legs, and then if you're going over that, which is pretty windy, you definitely want to guy rope them down. They do come with some nice bright orange guy ropes for these corner points. As I said, everyone has a point on there. So yeah, in wrapping up, I'm really impressed with it. It's a really good thick material. I love the colour, looks very smart. It's given me plenty of shade, and my swag is I think 2.1 long from memory, and this is about 2 meters out, so my swag will definitely fit under the back here directly without an issue. If not, on an angle, as I said, the sidewall's no problem. The Velcro probably wouldn't be bad. It's a bit of a hit and miss. I've had success with Velcro on my last 270 awning. Some people don't like Velcro because if it blows off or it gets dust or dirt in it. Zippers are the same. Each one has, like everything, its pros and cons. Other than that ridiculously windy trip in September, the Velcro did fine. I made up some Velcro walls out of some old gazebo sidewalls that I had at home, and I stitched some Velcro in. I Velcroed those on, but through the night we just had a lot of wind up there at Clarencetown coming through off the river, and a couple of times they did actually unpeel themselves. But in fairness, the Velcro I sewed on was only sort of 20 mil wide, whereas the awning was maybe 50 mil, so a proper good Velcro awning would be no drama. But I've got no issue with the zipper as well. As I said, you just zip each panel in. You can run the full 4 walls or just one alone. So yeah, I'm really impressed with that. Well done, OPENROAD. Weight-wise, they come in at about 23 kilos, I think it was. My previous one was around 18.5, so it is slightly heavier. But yeah, not the end of the world. I'll be bluntly honest though, and I did give this feedback to OPENROAD, I did have some dramas when installing with some of the little T-bolts that slide into the track that mount to your roof rack. I had one or two that decided to start spinning in the channel. Now I don't know if that was my fault the way I did it or what, but I've given them feedback on it because it was a bugger. That was going to be the original video for this. However, even editing it right down to keep it as short as I could. I ended up with almost an hour-long video. So I've done this as a separate clip just to keep it as short as I can, just to really highlight the product itself. If you want to check out the install video, go to the channel. It will be up after this one. But yeah, it was a bugger. Now they thought it might have been the roof racks that I was using or the vehicle that I was fitting it to, but the roof rack brackets that come with these are really well constructed. They're a super thick steel. The issue being that if I mounted them up on the headboard of my car, the upright for the awning is only maybe 75 mil high, and the awning wouldn't have been up high enough. It would have been hitting my head. So I've used some King's awning brackets that I got off Marketplace for my last awning, and essentially they're the same thing. They're just taller. They're an L-shaped bracket, so it doesn't matter whether this aluminium backing is bolting up to a King's bracket or it's bolting up to the OPENROAD bracket. Essentially there's still two flat bits of steel with holes in them for the bolts to go through. So I don't know if it's because I used my torque like a rattle gun just to spin the nuts on, not to tighten them, but I literally just spun the nylock nuts on with a torque wrench, and I had 2 or 3 bolts, I think from memory, where the nuts basically had stripped the bolts, being stainless steel, a softer material. I couldn't get the nut back off, and I couldn't get it on any further because the head of the T-bolt was spinning inside the extrusion, the housing. So I ended up having to angle grind it off, and it was a bit of a thing. You'll see that if you do watch that other video. It was a really hot day. It took so much longer, and it really tested the patience. But I cut them off, put shorter bolts on. I didn't use the rattle gun the second time. Had no issue. It did damage the aluminium extrusion a little bit. OPENROAD did offer anything that had been damaged. They were happy to replace, but it would have meant pulling the whole awning apart just to put the backing on. So I'm not going to worry about that. It's not the end of the world, but yeah, it was something worth mentioning. And I even suggested to them in their manual, which was very light on information, I did suggest to them maybe a torque setting. If you've got a torque wrench, you could actually torque the nuts down so that you're not over tightening them and stripping them like happened to me on 3 of them. And also I mentioned maybe they should say do not use rattle guns. I don't know if that's what caused my problem, but for you guys, you don't want to be in that same boat. So definitely no torque, rattle gun type thing. Well done, OPENROAD. I really appreciate them sending this out to me. And that is the rain coming that they've been talking about, which we don't want to get caught in. I'll grab that lead out in a sec. Always remember to pull the Velcro bits up and over, otherwise you will tuck them in and then they're a bugger to get back out. Wherever it's gone, there. Super easy to pack away too. Literally just fold on that crease line, like so, grab the bottom corner, and just start rolling. Roll it nice and tight, and then you won't have any issue. The bag's got plenty of cover, which is fantastic, because some of these awnings, once they've been unfolded from the factory, you never get them back up. But this one's super easy, so nice, good, strong, big, wide Velcro. Pop that in there. Pop that in there. Worth noting, I do use a ratchet type hook that I had on my other awning, so I may end up using it on this one as well, but the OPENROAD one is a nice strong cam buckle. But there's the material I mentioned to them, asking what that's for, and they said it's to help with rain. So I don't know how, but anyway, there's one there and one at the other end. I'm not sure exactly what that flap does. But yeah, the bag's nice and big. It's not ridiculously oversized, so as long as you roll it up correctly, it is quite accommodating, the bag. And that's it. Done job. What's that, maybe 30 seconds? I'll get that power cord out. That's it. Sorry guys, I know I said I was packing up and getting out of here, but yeah, just as a side note, you'll see more detail in the other video, but They've got good quality zippers as well, SBS zippers, the little OPENROAD tags there that you can pull the zippers with. And the bag seems quite good quality too. It's a nice, thick, durable, taut material type thing. Has been on the car now for, I think, about 3 weeks maybe, and yeah, it's there's no issue. It hasn't faded or anything like that, so it seems quite a good thick material. So anyway, I'm out of here. Here comes the rain. I'm going to go home and make a nice hot coffee and watch a bit of the old idiot box. Thanks again for tuning in. Really appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the tracks. Cheers, guys.